Hello everyone, welcome to the Prologue lecture of the Pro Lego Pro Engineer Creo Elements Pro tutorial series. So this video tutorial series is aimed at the beginning user, someone who's interested in learning the basics of Pro Engineer or Creo Elements. And we'll be using as our medium Lego parts. So we'll be making our own parts in Lego. We'll be making sort of Lego compatible parts and assemblies. So our first prerequisite of this course is that you have Pro Engineer or Creo Elements Pro or a PTC product installed on your machine. And our next prerequisite is that we download a freely available parts library. So if we go to the Carnegie Mellon Robotics Institute website, and I'll put this link in the description of the video, we can download a library of Lego NXT parts that are in the LEGO Educational Kit. So as we see, we have parts available for the commercial and educational editions of Pro Engineer. Now, depending on what version of Pro Engineer you're using, it might be wise to download either the commercial or educational edition. So if you check the program, you'll see if you're running the regular commercial edition or the educational edition. The educational edition will tell you if it's educational edition or not. But the compatibility is that the commercial edition can only open parts from the commercial edition, whereas the educational edition can open parts made by both commercial and educational editions. They might have changed this in later iterations of the program. So for instance, if you're running like Creo Elements or Creo 1.0, you might have different. You might be able to you might not be able to open the educational parts if you're commercial, or you might not be able to open the commercial parts if you're educational. So they might have blocked it down to, commercial or educational, not both. But anyway, you can download. If we click on educational, which is the version I'm using, we can see the parts that are available to download. So these are just folders with the respective sort of classification of parts. And you can also, there's a option to download all, which I recommend. So I'll leave that to you. I've already downloaded these. So go back to Pro Engineer. We'll start by opening a part. So the button window up here, the tool strip, you see we have the option to create a new part or to open an existing part. So just to sake of this tutorial, we'll open up a part that we already have. So you can see we can go to the directory where we have the complete parts list. We'll just open up a simple brick. So as we can see, we have a part open up in front of us. So it's just a quick overview of the controls. So I'm only using the mouse right now. We can hold down the middle mouse button and drag to rotate our part. We can also, if you have the mouse scroll wheel, scroll in to zoom out and scroll away from you to zoom out and scroll towards you to zoom in. We also zoom by pressing Control, middle mouse button, and up or down with the mouse. We also rotate the part similarly by clicking Control, holding down the middle mouse button, and moving left and right. You see our part rotates in the plane that we are viewing. So you can also press Shift with the mouse button to pan in the plane that we are viewing. And then to get back to our default saved view, press Control D. You'll see our part now reorients to the default view. So in the window to the left here, we have the model tree. So this shows basically all the features that are within our part. So the first features that are created in any part are the right, top, and front datum planes. Now, datum plane is basically a plane that can be drawn on. So the first features that you make will be with respect to these planes. There's also a coordinate system which is useful for making equations. All of your equations, if they're Cartesian, are based off of the Cartesian coordinate system, which are usually located in the center of the 3 planes. And then we have, so beyond that, if we look at this model here, we can see the sketches, the features that were made by the person who made these parts. You can see we have our sketch, we have extrusion, we have the extruded brick, different features that were created afterwards. So we'll get into this later on in our next lectures, but it's just important now to examine the part that we're currently that we're going to use for our course. So now these parts all have within them are based off of the standard LEGO unit measurement. So we can find that out right now. Go to Analysis, Measure, and say Distance. So if we select this face and rotate the part, select this face, so we can see that distance that we'll be working with. So the 0.8065 in centimeters is the value of the standard LEGO unit, meaning that one LEGO unit, one brick, the length and width will be equal to this value, or will be a multiple of this value. So we wanted to see what so our length here is 2 LEGO units, our width is 1 LEGO unit. We can reset this and click these opposite sides here. So we can see in the box that's now twice what the width was, so therefore it's compatible part. And we also want to check what the depth of the part is. We can select the top and bottom sides here. We'll ignore the pegs because those aren't included in the LEGO unit definition. But you can see here we have the distance of the depth of the part, which is in bricks. It's a multiple of this number, 0.9678. For plates, because a plate is 1/3 the height of a brick, or 1/3 the depth of a brick, this will be usually about 0.3226 centimeters. But that's just important to know because that's the units that these are the units that we'll be working with. Which will define our LEGO units. So we'll have our length and width as 0.8065, and we'll have our depth as 0.9678. So it's important to keep in mind for later lectures. So we'll cancel this. So another thing that's important to know is, so I say we're working in centimeters, and it's important to always check your units when you're creating a part. You can check the part preferences, part properties under File Properties. You open this up here, you'll see we have our material, which hasn't been assigned to us yet. It's an ABS plastic, so later on we can make our own material file for that. But for the units, let's see right here we have centimeter gram second, which defines the distance, mass, and our time units. So if we go to change, we can see the different unit conventions that we have available to us just by default. The default normally is inch, pound, mass, second, but we can change that. I mean, in this part, it's changed already to centimeter gram second. We can change between these by clicking on a different unit convention and then clicking Set. So if we choose to click Set, we have the options. We can either change the dimensions to a multiple of, or basically scale them to our desired dimension, or we can interpret them as our desired dimension. So neither of which we'll do. So I'll exit out of this. But that's just important to show if you're working with a part and you want to change what the units are, or specify what the units are, you can do that. We'll get out of this. And I guess, so digging a little bit deeper into this, if we wanted to sort of change on a global sort of program-wide scale, we go to Tools, Options. This will bring up our config.pro file, which contains all of the options that are used in ProEngineer. And below, you can see in our list here, the list may vary depending on what options we've already set. But there should be options for unit length, unit mass, and unit system. So, which I've defined unit centimeter, unit gram, and then the centimeter, gram, second unit system as these three values. Now, if you can't find these, or if they're not available on the list here, on your list, you can go down to Find. So you can type in, say, Pro Unit System. You have, say, Pro Unit Length. So we can see what those options are. If we wanted to check, say, anything that has length in it, so you can add asterisks in front and back. If we want to do, we'll have to search the description as well. And find now. So we'll see everything, every option that has both in the name and description, the string length. And then on these we can set what the values are through the pull-down menu. But we won't alter this here. So that's essentially it for the first tutorial. Next tutorial will go over making a basic part using the LEGO unit system. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.